Taliesin. I've seen perfect meter, which will last to the end of the world.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Charlie, and welcome to Form and Function, marrying principles of beauty and self-reference in architecture and design. What you're seeing on screen is the work of famed architect Frank Lloyd Wright, one of the most influential and prolific minds of the 20th century. Often cited as his masterworks, Falling Water and his own home Taliesin, which you see here, were revolutionary in their incorporation of running water and the embedding of the homes within their natural environs. Wright's design philosophy was dictated by a simple maxim, one that was novel at the time. Conventional wisdom until that point had been a matter simply of efficacy. Form follows function. However, beyond the realm of utilitarian brutalism that stemmed from the progression of such ideals, Wright saw something far more romantic. Form and function are one, joined in a spiritual union. Beauty found not in how one could dominate the natural world, but nestle within it in harmony that will use and harness the world rather than abuse and displace it. Wright also found such harmonies in the literary allusions he gave to his creations. Taliesin the Bard is a figure who gains forbidden knowledge by accident before being born of a vengeful goddess, thrown into the ocean in a sack, and recovered on the shores of a river in mythical sub-Roman Britain.
And a hand swallowed me. For 9 nights was I in her cry. I have been dead. I have been alive. I am Taliesin.
This Welsh figure is the persona of a real bard believed to have sung in the courts of at least 3 kings, and his name means shining brow in Welsh. Taliesin therefore not only stands as a physical incorporation of water and land into architecture, but the nature of the bard alluded to, his talents, origin, and shape-shifting powers all converge thematically to render a design pressing on divine creativity found at the union of river and shore, water and earth. Shining brow at the top of the hill, following falling water, is certainly a fulfillment of these principles. Now, these concepts have been woven into many a piece of art, from the cyclical structure and narrative of James Joyce's incomprehensible Night Book, My Beloved Finnegan's Wake, which was released on this day, to the music of the group MGMT, whose most recent effort, Loss of Life, is chock full of these themes and even begins with a song called Loss of Life Part 2, implying that this is not the first time this has happened. Additionally, it ends with Loss of Life Part 1, a song which flows back into track 1, with what is probably another allusion to a massive encyclopedic text, Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Endless laughter, LOL into LOL Part 2. Quite funny if you ask me. The form of the album, that being rebirth and death, and its function, are fused into one, creating true beauty. And of course, the allusions to Taliesin drive this home. But, of course, as this is my channel, we must now circle back to how this all relates to that endless cycle of life and undeath. Call of Duty Zombies. I've spoken before about how the many worlds theory of multiverses and the cycle within Zombies itself create a perfect framing device that marries the form of the story, that is, replaying the same events over and over again in a loop, with the function of the game, which is playing the same levels over and over again, only to die and restart.
Hey, Sal, we must have been through this 50 times already.
And we'll go through it another 50 if that's what it takes. 9:30, lights out. God begins his rounds. How we doing tonight, Ferguson? Family good?
Yeah, doing great, Mr. DeLuca. My boy Tommy, he's almost 6 now.
Ain't that swell?
However, on a more granular level, how can we mine this principle to unveil hidden dimensions of meaning, nestled perfectly into the architecture and landscape of the game?
I'm sure Keaton is dead.
I can't feel my legs, Kaiser.
First thing I learned on the job, you know what it was? How to spot a murderer.
Tell me you got the cripple in there from New York.
Yeah.
He mentioned Kaiser Soze.
Who?
After that, my guess is you'll never hear from him again.
greatest trick the devil ever pulled
was convincing the world he didn't exist. And like that, he's gone.
Now, if we take these principles and apply them on a more granular level, how can we mine these concepts to unveil hidden dimensions of meaning, nestled perfectly into the architecture and landscape of the game? Easter eggs hidden in plain sight. Now, this isn't a random aside, because I'm here to tell you that this principle of self-referential design and the fusion of form and function is on full display all throughout Zombies. In particular, the menu screen for Kino der Toten. Kino der Toten, or Theater of the Damned, is a map that takes place within a movie theater. Nestled all throughout are posters for films like Faust, Metropolis, and in later games, fictional films like Pygmalion, Die Bismarck, and, on Shadows, Escape the Tomb, and Killers of the Night. Today is May 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. It's also my younger sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Virginia, but beware the revenge of the 5th. I also spoke a little bit about how it's the day that Finnegan's Wake was released. Quite the coincidence, that. Now, I just want you to ask, where better than to hide a reference to one of the greatest films of all time than within a movie theater? Now I want you to pause the video and tell me how this photo might be related to Star Wars. Here's a hint. Use the Force. Of course, what I'm referring to here is the fact that the sign is bisected by a light and a dark side. If we isolate the text on either one, we can find some hidden meaning. On the light side, we have something that appears to say, do it and soul. Of course, this is a fraction of the word Deutsches, as well as a defaced version of the word solo. Now, the singular O, of course, suggests soul O, Han Solo. Additionally, sol in Latin means sun. So you have sun. You also have duet. If you think of the Star Wars soundtrack, the Twin Suns theme is from Star Wars. Now, this is not only meant to represent the two suns on Tatooine, but also the fact that Luke and Leia are twins. You go from solo to duet. However, there is a dark side to this revelation. That being that Luke and Leia's kiss in the first movie, once they realize they're siblings, is retroactively rendered incestuous. So, let's look at the dark side here. It says, she's Kino, or she's kin. Oh, an exclamation that would happen once you realize that you accidentally kissed your sis. Yikes. Don't worry, Ginger. That's not the kind of birthday gift I have in mind for you. Now, this idea of a defaced sign outside of a movie theater that you have to use contextual clues in order to piece together what it's actually saying is genius. It's a fusion of form and function in one. An ineffective advertisement also serving as a hidden Easter egg, showing meaning in plain sight. Pretty genius. Now, this was far from the last time that this principle of design was employed by the architects of Call of Duty Zombies. Take, for example, Shadows of Evil, whose menu screen has another advertisement for a movie. If we look over here, we can see that there is a reference to the movie Krull, a movie that Jason recently referenced on stream.
Thinking back of like a film like Krull, to use an old 80s reference, you know.
This poster from the original movie Krull uses spotlights, and here we see that Krull is pretty visible on the Killers of the Night matinee. Additionally, those spotlights that I had described seem to create a silhouette of a shadowed figure. The antagonist of Krull is a being known as the Beast, which invades from another dimension. Of course, the Shadow Man is a being from another dimension that makes us go beast mode in order to fulfill his wishes and help him propagate our dimension and invade it with the apothegms. Pretty awesome if you ask me. Now, allusions to movies and movie posters that might give us a little bit of insight into where the story is going, that being that with Star Wars we're headed to the moon, and with Krull that the Shadow Man is actually evil, we can find embedded meaning within the actual marriage of form and function of the traps within the maps. The first one I want to dissect is the Flogger Trap from Shin Onuma. Now, on the surface level, this is simply a joke to do with logs. The flogger smashes the zombies over and over again, just like the punishment of flogging, and using logs, launches them into the air. It's funny. However, if you know anything about surface gravity, you would know that it's expressed by the term log G. Now, if you are not the flogger, but you are the floggee, in this situation, you would be launched into the air. The zombies get humorously launched around. But if you were also making an EE that was meant to defy gravity, or say F surface gravity, it would be F log G EE, or flog-E. So you have not only incorporated the principles by which physically zombies are being thrown into the air, that being the defiance of surface gravity, but you've also cleverly combined the idea of logs and cycles and self-reference into a circling log trap that sends the zombies flying. Again, union and harmony of form and function creates beauty. This is awesome. Now, I have plenty of other examples of this principle being employed all throughout Zombies, in every single one of the games. But I just wanted to outline here 3 examples that make it very, very clear to me that this form of self-reference, the marriage of form and function, and the understanding that embedding jokes about the actual processes that you are employing into the actual design of the Easter eggs is the game. How can we nestle this joke in plain sight so that those who know will get it, but those who don't have absolutely no idea? The other part about this that is so beautiful to me is that for the designers, the beauty of unifying these two things, form and function, is all they need. They don't need people to recognize it. They don't need people to shout them out. Just by fulfilling this criteria, they have succeeded. That is enough for them. They're willing to let this information fade into obscurity with the knowledge that they made something beautiful. And someday, someone will find it. I'm so glad that I did.